Well, well, well. Hello there, YouTube. It is your boy, B as in 3, back with another kickin'. You guessed it, kickin' Toku TV review. Now, last time we reviewed Kamen Rider Ryuki, and now we're going to review the next show on my list, Kamen Rider Kabuto, one of the all-time greats. Most people I know who watch Kamen Rider recommend this as the entry season. Like, this is the season they recommend to people who want to get into Kamen Rider. And honestly, it is a good starter season. It can be a little slow at times, but I think it's definitely faster than, like, Kuga. It's pretty good. So, Kamen Rider Kabuto, another great tokusatsu show. Kamen Rider is probably my favorite toku show, actually. This is the 16th Kamen Rider show and the 7th Heisei show. Pretty crazy. It's got Ishimori Productions on it again. I'm not super familiar with Ishimori Productions other than their collaborations with Toei to make Kamen Rider. But, you know, the Kamen Rider shows are good, so what can I say? And this is the 2006 Kamen Rider that went into 2007. So I was in middle school when this Kamen Rider premiered. I was in middle school, but I didn't watch it till I was an adult. I remember I was watching this when I was at community college. After classes, I would watch it in the commons area because I didn't have internet at home, much like I still don't really have much internet at home at all. So that was pretty awesome. And it's a 35th anniversary Kamen Rider show too. It kind of doesn't feel like a Kamen Rider anniversary, because now whenever there's a big Kamen Rider anniversary, they like work an anniversary thing into the show, but they didn't kind of work. It doesn't feel like they worked anything special in this show, other than the fact that it was the first high definition Kamen Rider show, the first HD Kamen Rider show. So maybe they did that for the maybe they did that for it. I don't know. But the story revolves around Soji Tendo, who trained his entire life waiting for the Kabuto Zector so that he can become Kamen Rider Kabuto. He's making lots of foes, meeting lots of riders, and he fights all these worms. He meets Arata Kagami, who later becomes Kamen Rider Gaddock. And then they kind of help save humanity from these worms. And these worms are kind of shape-shifting alien creatures. They can take people's places. Like there's this one episode very early in the show where one is imitating Arata Kagami's dead brother. And it's really sad. It's a really sad episode. And that was the episode where I was really like, this is going to be a good show. After that episode, I was like, this is gonna be a good show. And it was a very good show. I think it has the perfect amount of writers. Right? You got Kabuto, Gaddock, the Bee, Drake, Sasword, Kick Hopper, Punch Hopper, and Dark Kabuto. Right? There's some like movie exclusive ones too. And stuff, like exclusive to specials, movies, stage shows, etc. I've never seen a stage show, but I'd like to. But there are lots of them. And while Kamen Rider Kabuto is kind of the title character, he's not really the main character. Because Kabuto is this guy who's good at everything and doesn't really seem to have any flaws, and that doesn't make a good main character. But he's not really the main character, because Arata Kagami, Kamen Rider Gaddock, is the main character. Because, I mean, it's more his story than Kabuto's. like, he's not Gaddock for the whole show. I don't think he's even Gaddock for most of the show. Maybe only like the last third or something. It's a pretty good show. You know, I really like it. It's got twists that you won't see coming. Lots of twists and turns. Each of the riders is good. They feel nice. And once again, perfect amount of riders, you know, real good balance of riders. Kick and Punch Hopper are just cool. The Bee is rad. The Dragonfly guy is probably my least favorite. Which one's Dragonfly? Drake? Yeah. Kamen Rider Drake is probably my least favorite in the show, but he's not bad. You know, I like it. It's a really good show. And now we're going to kind of talk about the illusions that are in it, because I did look this up, because I was like, this was an anniversary show? And that didn't make a lot of sense to me. But it made some allusions to the Kamen Rider series, and they're not very obvious upon like just watching the show. I had to look these up because I really didn't notice them. Then again, this was one of the first Kamen Rider shows I watched. It was maybe like the third Kamen Rider show I ever watched back in the day. Revisiting Kabuto is always really good. But the Masked Rider project in the show that creates the Kamen Riders was said to have started about the time that the original Kamen Rider show started. And the worm species arrived on that show later in the year, but it was when, you know, it was that date of the original Kamen Rider show. And some of the riders seem to be based off Showa riders, but like Drake is apparently like V3, but I never watched V3. The B is like Super 1, which I also never watched. Kabuto is like Stronger. And once I looked that up, that one kind of clicked. I was like, okay, the Beetle, I got it. And then Kick and Punch Hopper are Kamen Riders 1 and 2. Kuga and Gaddock are supposed to be kind of similar. But the only one that really clicked for me when I looked those up was Kabuto and Stronger. And that was really it. But it is a good show. You know, as I said, it's got twists. It'll keep you interested. Great opening theme. We got a movie and a special. I might review those at some point. They didn't impress me too much. I mean, I kind of like the movie, but they didn't impress me too much. If you watched Decade, it's nothing like the universe in Decade. But I'll get to Decade soon. Relatively soon. But Kamen Rider Kabuto has good suits. The CGI is not very good. Like, the suits are good. The CGI is not my favorite. But it's early 2000s children's television CGI. So don't expect too much just from that description. But, you know, they did what they could for the time and budget, because most of the budget goes into the practical effects, right? And then the digital effects kind of take a back seat to that. And I prefer that. So whenever I see bad CG in Kamen Rider, I'm like, good. I'm glad the CG's bad, because that's why the practical effects are so good. And I could inject practical effects straight into my veins, because I love practical effects, dude. I love it. That's why I'm making a Toku show called Toku King, which you can donate to in the Indiegogo or Patreon links in the description below. So, once again, I love Kabuto. I do think it's a good starter show. I still recommend Kamen Rider Build as a starter, because it's more modern, and it'll give you an idea of what Kamen Rider is like today, because Kamen Rider isn't exactly like Kabuto anymore, because Kabuto is a lot slower. Kamen Rider has a faster pace these days, has more, it's more about forms and gimmicks, but it still cares just as much about story as these did. So I think Kamen Rider has progressed in a very good manner. I think it's progressed better than Ultraman and Super Sentai. But this is a good show, and I do recommend you watch it. And if you want to watch it early on, great. You know, I quite love Kamen Rider Kabuto. So that is it. Thank you all very much for your support. Please remember to rate, comment, and subscribe. Check out all the cool links in the description below: Facebook, Twitter, etc. And I will be seeing you all later.